I could tell you about the multiple arguments I've had with my parents in regards to social media. Although if I did, we would be here all day. They usually start with me on my cell phone going through whatever social media sites I decided to open. Then my mom, or my dad, or both, walk in, see me on my cell phone, and take my phone away. Now, I'm angry because I feel they won't give me the opportunity to explain myself. But after all the research I've done, I believe their anger comes from a place of anxiety and frustration because they have heard the most horrible stories about social media. So just like my parents and I believe every parent and their teenagers need to communicate to overcome this mental barrier that social media has caused. First, the parents should explain the horrible things they've heard, which include cyberbullying, the creepy and weird habits of other people, and the psychological effect it could have on their child. Like most high school students, I have been cyberbullied, and it's been proven that teenagers who spend 3 or more hours on social media during a school day are 110% more likely to be a victim of cyberbullying. And this is worrying to parents, because not many victims even tell their parents that they are being cyberbullied, as there is nothing you can do to fix it. It's nearly impossible to trace a hurtful message back to the person who wrote it, as they're normally sent anonymously. It's believed that kids who are frequently cyberbullied are more likely to abuse substances, skip school, experience bullying at school, poor grades, low self-esteem, and more health problems. So it's understandable why parents are so strict. A few months ago, I received an anonymous message telling me I looked like an owl and other things that apparently had been spread about me. And I was hurt by the fact that someone out there didn't like me and that these things were going around. But I had to remember, none of it was true, and any cyberbullying meant message is absolute nonsense. I was even contemplating whether or not I should tell my family, because I was worried that they would judge me, and I knew the end effect would mean that I would have to delete the profile from the social media site I had recently started using. In the end, I did delete my profile for it, as I did tell my parents, and even though they were angry, I knew they weren't angry with me. All they want to do is protect me, and that's what every parent wants for their teenager. Sometimes, we don't realize the danger of putting too much information online. I was at my friend's house, and we decided to swim. We were having a great time, but, like most teenagers, we needed a picture to prove it. Looking back, posting a picture in our costumes wasn't the smartest idea, as this can lead to stalking. Stalking is always subtle at first. You won't know immediately if you're being stalked, but it's a serious crime, and if not stopped immediately, it can leave the victims feeling paranoid and alone, as some of the extreme cases can result in things as serious as sexual assault and murder. So this is constantly stressing parents because of how it impacts this child's safety negatively. What can also impact the child's safety negatively is sexting. To be honest, I was only targeted once when I was in grade 4. My friend started using the social media site, which allowed you to chat with any other kid in the world. Now, as a very cautious grade 4, I made a fake account. To everyone who viewed my profile, I was Amber Thompson from Iceland, and I was 13 years old. After 45 minutes of chatting with a girl my age from America, I received an inappropriate message from a 13-year-old boy. Now, as a 10-year-old girl, I was absolutely horrified. That message was meant for 13-year-old Amber Thompson, as sexting is seen to be more of a teenage thing rather than adults, and girls are targeted more frequently than boys. It's unsafe for many reasons, as it can result in stalking, and we all know where that can lead. It's a serious crime that if you are found sending sexual images online, you can receive a criminal record which will stay with you for the rest of your life. But you have to remember, this generation was born into a world of devices and social media. So just like we learn not to walk off cliffs in the real world, we learn not to get ourselves into dangerous situations in the virtual world. So these are some of the aspects of social media which can affect the child immediately. But some of the effects of social media take time to show results. I was talking to someone whom I hadn't seen in 3 years, and whilst I was talking to her, she sat there going through her Instagram feed. It's just amazing how social media has affected our social and communication skills. These are skills like being able to have a decent conversation, or knowing which body language is correct for a certain situation. But the amount of cell phone and computer use has diminished social skills and body language. So, as a parent, all these things obviously stress them out about social media, but from a child's perspective, there are just as many positive aspects. I was at home cooking supper, and whilst the mince was cooking, I picked up my cell phone and went on it. When my mom walked in, she got angry and took my phone away. I don't think she realizes that when I'm on my cell phone, it's mainly for communicating with friends, building my popularity, and for educational purposes. In this situation, I was actually talking to someone about an issue that had popped up recently. Most of the time, we use social media as a way to communicate with friends. It's a great way to keep up with family or friends that live overseas. Without it, it'd be extremely hard to organize events or get homework details, and it's also a great platform for advertising small businesses, as small as babysitting and dog walking. However, sometimes we are browsing our feed or watching funny videos of cats. This is normal. Every teenager I know does this. But there is a time and a place for everything, and teenagers need to know when it's okay to be on social media for pleasure and when it's time to work. I think my parents have actually given up on asking why I take so many photos of what I do. But when you're in high school, one of the most important things is your social status, which is connected to your reputation, and both can be improved by social media. It's almost a way of proving your popularity by the amount of likes you get on a photo, the amount of retweets or photos you're tagged in. The only downside is that it's also a great platform for creating a facade of what you want people to think your life is like, almost as if you're distracting yourself, as well as the whole world, from any problems you face personally, which obviously affects the self-esteem. It can be negatively because of cyberbullying, but it can also be positively. I mean, we tend to feel great when we get lots of likes, retweets, or even followers. I know, I was ecstatic when I first got 100 likes on an Instagram post. But it's not something you use to build a positive self-esteem from scratch. Don't use social media to give yourself a positive self-esteem. Use social media to support an already positive self-esteem. And when you have a positive self-esteem, you tend to feel happier with anything you do, from things as simple as walking down the street to learning new things. And social media is a great platform to do so. It has definitely increased the productivity of learning groups in schools and teaches business skills as simple as learning to maintain connections with important people. It has great practice if you wish to follow an artistic career path, as you would get a lot of experience from creating online profiles and uploading artistic work. And we have to remember all the amazing DIYs out there, and how it can improve your literature, as getting other people's input is a great way to increase the quality of your work. It's also a great platform for sharing and receiving knowledge. It keeps people all around the world up to date with current and relevant news. If it weren't for social media, I wouldn't know half of what's going on around the world. But not all information is true, with things like rumors and conspiracy theories, whether they are positive or negative. So I suggest you check the source of your information before you share it yourself. So when you get home, have a chat with your parent or have a chat with your teenager. Tell them that you understand their views and then explain yours. And after that, I suggest you have some sort of agreement on where you want to set the boundaries. I had this chat with my mom, and afterwards the boundaries were, I wasn't allowed my cell phone after 8 on a school night. When I get home, I have half an hour to do whatever I want. And when I'm with family, I'm not allowed to be on social media at all. I'm sure you'll find it's a lot easier than you thought it would be. And then all-round tension is avoided in the long run, because technology is changing. Generations are changing. The world is changing. And we are letting it. But the connection between parents and their children are changing as well. And this, we can simply not allow.